What's up, YouTube world? What's happening out there? I'm jumping on right now to do my end of the year live. I like to do this every year, kind of that time between Christmas and the new year. I'm gonna update everybody what's going on. I'll kind of let YouTube do its thing here for a few minutes while I walk around, maybe give you a little bit of a tour what's going on here. And then we'll jump right on into it. If you're joining me, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. It's always nice to see where you guys are at. What state, what country. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their holidays at the end of the year here. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And nice, Texas. I'm out here in the crazy tornado alley in the Midwest. This month has been so crazy because we've had so much crazy wind and severe weather. You know, I don't know if you guys can see, but like behind me, there's a whole bunch of downed trees and stuff. Like this is way more clear than it was just like a month ago. Because we had some crazy winds and like all around my house basically just got smashed with tornadoes. And like 40 minutes south of me in Kentucky, they got really smashed up with that with the tornado that they're calling the Beast. That traveled like, it was like what, like a mile wide in size, and it traveled like over 160 miles and just completely flattened everything that was in its path. And that was a crazy night. It was December 10th into December 11th. I was out filming a little bit of it on my back porch, and it got pretty intense. For like 10-15 minutes, I thought we were gonna get smashed, but somehow we didn't. So it's been pretty crazy. But yeah, you know, that's the risk that you take when you're living in an area like this. This is like the most prone area in the world for tornadoes, so it's crazy. Nice, we got Florida. Hey, what's up? What's happening? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Yeah, man, The Office. You probably hear that all the time. Have you heard about a strong typhoon that happened in the Philippines? No, I didn't. I've been kind of out of it. I have not been looking at the news. I haven't been consuming online. I haven't been, like, I don't watch TV. My TV's unplugged, so we don't watch that. And I have not been consuming, any really kind of like social media news stuff for like pretty much the whole month of December. It's one of my goals for 2022 is to spend less time on the screen as I can and more time in the real world, you know. Kind of some stuff that I'm going to be talking about today on my end of the year live right here. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. How's my day? My day's good, man. My day's good. It's beautiful weather. You know, it's great weather. A little overcast today, but I've been doing a lot of garden work, and as far as like training and stuff, I'm always doing training, but you know what I've been working on in my personal training. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit so you guys get an idea like what my personal training has been looking like, because I don't really show that. I don't really show that on this channel and stuff. But maybe I'll touch on base on some of that stuff, and I just been working, man. I've been filming a whole bunch of videos for the online school for our Apex training program. I think I filmed like over 50 new videos, all the solo training combinations and forms and all that, because I can only get done what I can get done with the resources that are available to me. And then when Tom comes out here, I'm going to be we're going to be filming a whole bunch of the partner drills that are, I'm releasing all the real Collie Center training stuff that we've been working on and that we've been developing, the whole curriculum that I've been developing over the last like 7 to 10 years. We're starting to release a lot of that information on our online school. So that's where people are going to start seeing like the big difference of our training and how we're like, we're not this style or this system or that system, that we are kind of doing our own thing over the evolution of the last 2+ decades of my training. So that's what we're doing. Crazy busy, man. It's been a really great, productive end of the year. I'm prepping to do some carenza. Nice. Have you used a Bali Song knife? See, I gotta comment on that, man, because it's funny. I have videos. This is one of the changes that's coming in 2022. If you read the title of this, everything's changing in 2022. So everything, meaning everything in my life, is changing in 2022. So Collie Center's changing. Some stuff in my personal life is changing. Some stuff in my professional life is changing. And, I'm going to kind of share some of that stuff with you guys. But one of the big changes that's coming here on the channel is that I'm going through all of my videos right now. And basically, all the videos that haven't gotten a lot of views, because either most people just were not interested in those videos, or YouTube algorithm just was not interested in promoting those videos. I'm making those all member access only. So you have to be a member to the channel to watch those videos. Now I have almost 900 videos on this channel for the last 7+ years that I've been working this channel. So by the end, I'm like hustling right now. So probably by the end of this year, in just a few days, about at least probably around half of my videos are going to be members access only. So you have to be a channel member to get access to those videos. And it's funny because, like, have you ever worked with a Bali Song? Like, I literally just got that comment. It's like, I have Bali Song videos here on the channel. And this is like one of the reasons why I'm making these changes to the channel. Like, I'm going to be changing how I'm filming videos in 2022. And I want to explain to you guys why. So in 2022, especially if you've been following this channel for years, and you're like, man, how come like it's a little different? Still somewhat going to be the same, but still going to be somewhat different. So let me just explain that real quick. Maybe it's something that you'll be into, and maybe it's something that you won't be into. So you can decide if you want to stay a subscriber or not. When I originally set out to put this channel out, it was never intended to be a popularity race, to chase after subscribers, to chase after views, to chase after any kind of monetization on the channel. But I have to admit, over the last couple of years, since probably like 2018, kind of fell into that rat race of YouTube content creator. And I started going after that. Started going after chasing subscribers and chasing the views and trying to please the YouTube algorithm and and all this crap. And after doing that for the last like 3 years, I got to admit I'm a little burnt out of it. And I've been watching working Instagram and watching Instagram, and basically over the last handful of years, or few years, like 2-3 years, I've been watching all these platforms make these changes, and just kind of reverting back to the point of like, no, what was the original intent, for Collie Center and for the channel and all that stuff. And I've got changes in my life now that I think are going to help make Collie Center even better, because Collie Center is one of my main streams of living income. But because I have other business stuff that is in the works right now, I'm not really going to need Collie Center anymore to be part of that, living income anymore. If all goes well. So I feel like there's a release that I get to just kind of go back and just make Collie Center how I wanted, how the original intent was, and not being trapped into the YouTube creator thing and all that. So in 2022, I'm going to be reverting back to the original intention of the channel. Now, which I kind of stayed with this whole time, but, I know that it's like, okay, what's the most popular topics here on YouTube, right? The most popular topics is going to be like karambit, which you guys might know, maybe you don't know. I personally do not like the karambit, okay? I just don't. I don't think it's the best use as far as self-defense, as far as, in today's time. I think it's a great tool for offense. I think it's a great tool if you are looking to assassinate people and that's what you want to do, or you want to look a certain way with what you carry. But like, I'm just not, I've trained in it, especially back in my Salat days, and over the years, with training with different instructors, with, really learning about these martial arts and what they really are and what they really are not, and how so many of us in the Western world have been, I use the word juked, right? We've been played. Personally, I've been having a little bit of a conflict on what to promote and what to put out there, and what to do. But like the popular videos, like the karambit, the double sticks, the staff is a really popular one and stuff. But there's so much that I want to express and share that I don't really want to just like do what's popular all the time, which I know in 2022, I'm taking a big risk of the channel suffering, but I don't really care. I'm taking a big risk of like complete halt in the channel, Collie Center channel growth. I'm taking a big risk of people wanting to unsubscribe from the channel and all that. Like I said, I don't really care, because I want to switch gears back to the original thing and not chase after popularity. This was never supposed to be a popularity thing. This was never about building a reputation for myself or anything like that. At heart, I don't care about any of those things. I just want to train. And the original intent of this channel is just to try to inspire other people to get involved with Filipino martial arts, or just inspire people to get involved with something that will help to bring more value into their life. And I want to kind of revert more towards that. So I'm going to be very active on the members side of the channel. That's where I'm going to be putting most of the training stuff. But I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on not fully out like what we put on the Apex on our online school, but kind of like skimming some of that information. So the people that like really want to train with me, that are interested in how I teach, what I teach, I'm going to be putting more of that into the members area here on the YouTube channel. And then for the main channel, I'm still going to be doing some drills, but I won't be doing as many. I won't be doing like 3 or 4 videos per week. I'm going to reduce that. I'm going to reduce it to maybe like 1 or 2 like training videos a week. And then I figured I'm going to kind of show you guys a little bit more of like my day by day, or kind of more like week by week or month by month, and just do a couple little vlogs and stuff. Because what I want to do is I want to start showing and teaching how Kali has integrated into my life and how I use it for way more than just like fighting and self-defense. I think that fighting and self-defense, that is the most minimal requirement. That is the most minimal value that Kali gives us in our life, or any martial art gives us in our life. Back in the day, hundreds, even thousands of years ago, many elites had some sort of martial arts master or martial arts teacher on their council. And it wasn't necessarily just for, learning sword fighting or learning, boxing or whatever it is, right? It was really to develop, it was for that royalty to develop a different level of personal growth and personal development, a different way of thinking, a different way of questioning things and formulating questions. And I think that's where the most powerful aspect of martial arts really is. And for years, I've been talking about how, I don't, at least the last couple of years, I've been talking about how I don't teach self-defense. I don't teach that anymore. It's not an interest of mine, and I don't teach that. I teach Kali. Okay, that's what I teach. So if someone is coming to me looking for self-defense, I'm not going to be your teacher. If you want to learn Kali, if you want to learn time, you want to learn how to get the fulfillness of time, that's the etymology of the word Kali. It's the feminine for the word time. So when I use the word Kali, and a lot of people are like, oh, Kali is not a real term in Filipino martial arts. Right, I get that. People are telling me what I already know. And when I chose to name this Kali Center, this channel and this whole business, I could have named it, Eskrima Center or Arnis Center or Bastone or Kalis, or I could have named it any Filipino term that I wanted, but I chose Kali Center for a specific reason, which I know I've talked about this in the past, but because people don't watch those videos, whether they're either just not interested or the YouTube algorithm's like, I'm not showing this video out to anybody. And now I don't know what to do because of all this, internet censoring that has been happening with all of these companies and stuff. As a creator, for the type of creator that I am and that I want to continue to be, I'm conflicted of what to put out there. So I'm like, the hell with it. I'm just going to put stuff out there. And if you guys like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You can stay, you can leave. YouTube can kick me off. Instagram, Facebook, or Meta, whatever the hell it is, they can kick me off now. I don't really give a shit. Because if the world decides that what I produce has no value to the world or the agenda of the world, then pardon my language, but then the world can go fuck themselves, okay? Because I want to still make sure that I'm living my life and that I'm promoting what I believe in. And I'm not trying to pontificate things onto you or onto the world and saying like, this is the way it has to be. It's just, this is all we can do as content creators. We can either flow with the masses and flow with what we think the masses want, or we can be authentic. And for the last couple of years, I was kind of flowing with what I thought that the masses wanted, and I feel like I was losing that authenticity. And I really want to gain that back because, as a father, as a partner in the world, what kind of example am I to my family if I'm following what I believe that the masses want and I'm not following my own authentic and transparent self, right? I can't tell my kids to live an authentic life if I'm not living an authentic life, right? Like, I'm a big believer in leading by example. Lead from the front. Like Alexander the Great, you got to be the first one to move in every single battle. As you are the king or the emperor, or the leader, you are the first one to make the first move, and whether you are launching out on your horse into victory or into your final fate, do it by you leading first, and then everybody else can make a decision if they want to go with you to victory or to fate. or not. You know, but you live truly to your own, and that's just something that I believe in, and I want to make sure I'm doing what I can to get back on that track. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to you guys. Watching Days of Drills series, nice. How about making a chronological index library of all your videos and sell the whole thing on Blu-ray? I'm just getting into watching you and feel people like me would benefit greatly. Yeah, I'm going to touch on that too. Hang on. I'm not leaving your channel, Paul. I want to learn more. Awesome. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Me too. I want to learn more. I'm trying to record my progress at TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube channel. Love you, man. Yeah, and so that's why I'm kind of, it's kind of hard to, like, let me organize my thought here real quick. So for my YouTube videos, I don't really want to necessarily package them up and sell them at like a high ticket price. So the members area here on this channel starts at $1.99 a month. And I want to keep it that way. So I'm archiving or kind of changing the visibility of a lot of my videos to members only, and I'm making those available to even the level 1 members, which is $1.99 a month. So that comes out to what, $24 a year if you wanted to stick around for 12 months, right? I mean, I figure that that's pretty fair, especially with some personal things that are going on in my life where, like, I don't really need to chase after any kind of, you know, serious monetary gain from Collie Center. So I'm like, I still need some sort of exchange, like energy exchange, because it does take time and it does take a lot of, like, mind power and stuff to produce content and everything. And there's equipment that is being used that needs to be replaced sometimes and all that. So, I do feel that there should still be some kind of, like, exchange, but because I have things in play right now in my life that I don't need to, like, try to milk everything out of Collie Center. I'm going to make it really, keep it at like $1.99 a month. And that's really the only kind of monetary that I'm really looking at as far as YouTube goes. And, if enough of you become channel members, there should be an option. So underneath the videos, I don't know if it's accessible on mobile devices yet, on smartphones, but I know you can do it on desktops, laptops. You can become a member. If you look underneath the videos, anywhere there's a join button, that's where then you can click that join button and it'll take you through the process to becoming a member to the channel. But so if I get enough of you guys to become members to the channel, where it does kind of balance out what the channel is doing monetarily, then the plan is I'm going to stop YouTube however I can from displaying ads on my videos. Right? I'm going to demonetize the ad revenue on the videos. That's really the goal for the channel, because I don't, it's like I get comments of people complaining about some of the ads that pop up, and the ads I have no control of what pops up. It's like YouTube and Google trying to figure out, you as a viewer, what ads you want to see or what they think you want to see. So depending on what you have going on in your life and what you're searching on the internet and what you're watching, what you're reading, they're going to try to customize the ads to you. And I'm like, if we can get this to a point where we can get rid of the ads on our YouTube channel here on Collie Center, then let's just get rid of that altogether. And then you guys don't even need to deal with ads. You don't need to skip ads. You don't need to watch those, 15-second long ads, because they're annoying. It's like, especially when they're in the middle of like a 12-minute workout video and you're like, fuck, man, now there's an ad that just popped up. Like, I really do want to erase that and get rid of that. The only reason I have that stuff is because I still pay my staff. Like, we're creating jobs and we're creating opportunities here for people here through Collie Center, which I'm going to talk about more in a little bit as well. But, you know, I have to pay other people, so, you know, I have to generate revenue really for that. But if we can do away with that, I would love to do away with that. So I figured, you know, $1.99 a month or $24 a year, I figure most people can do that. And out of 130,000 subscribers, you know, I'm like, I don't think we need to worry about ad revenue anymore. It's just stupid. It's so stupid. You know, so that's kind of one of the goals for the channel. But, you know, like I said, I'm going to be reverting a lot of the videos to members only visibility. And in that way you guys can, you know, if you want to get access to all those videos. Because there's a lot of good stuff that I put out here on YouTube. I feel that it's really good stuff. And if YouTube's not promoting it anyways to you guys, especially the newer people, like for the last, you know, I've been posting videos on here for 7 years. And, you know, we've had most of our channel growth in the last like 12 to 18 months. So I know that, you know, a lot of you guys that are new to the channel, you know, you're not even probably going to be aware that there's all this content that I've put up for, you know, 5-6 years before you found this channel, or before this channel found you, I should say. So, you know, but I still want to make it available. I still want to give you the option to view that and train that material and work with that material. So that's why I'm kind of just keeping it on the platform. I was contemplating deleting it and deleting all those videos. And I don't back up my videos. So all the videos that I've made for YouTube, they're not backed up on an external hard drive or anything like that. So once I delete them, like, they're gone forever. And I'm like, no, you know, I do get a lot of you guys that send me emails and DMs and all that. And you're like, no, man, don't delete your videos, you know, keep the stuff going. And I'm like, yeah, I do want to keep it going and all that. So that's what we're doing. So become a channel member if you want access to all those videos. Like I said, I got almost 900 videos on the channel. And I know for sure I'm going to be changing at least 400 to 500 of those videos to members access only. So like I said, $1.99 a month, and you get access to everything on the channel. That also makes room for some new stuff. Yeah, I'm not a crazy tricker when it comes to the Bali song knife. You know, I know some, like, the basic flips. You know, I can do some aerial flips and tricks and all that stuff, but I'm more of a practical guy, not really like a flipper guy. You know, like sometimes, like on a karambit video, you know, you do a little flip to extended grip, and people, you know, in the comments, you don't want to do that in a real fight, that fancy shit. Right. Again, you're telling me what I already know. It's a YouTube video, dude. You know, that's another thing that, like, people have to understand, that, dude, this is a YouTube channel. This is not an ITC. This isn't 5-day training camp. Okay, this is a YouTube video. This isn't you coming out and training with me here one-on-one privately. It's YouTube. So, like, I don't know where people don't put that together, but, you know, that's just the way that a few people are. Most people are I think, smart enough though. But you can just get a few of those dummies out there. Good morning, what's happening? An inch-long blade. Yeah, I mean, especially with the size of people nowadays, I mean, they're getting more fat and stuff on them. You got to be able to cut through that. You know, I mean, a superficial laceration wound is not really enough. It's not really enough to stop most people. if it stops somebody, it's not because of the wound, it's because of the psychology that happened because of the wound. But like I've had my arm cut open in training, and where I had to go and do all that stuff. I get told I'm an irresponsible teacher because I've trained with live blades and stuff like that, which I'd never promote you guys to do. I just want to experience something. But like I've had those things happen, and I don't care. It doesn't stop me. We keep training. I'll fix it later. Get it fixed later if I have to. So like just knowing that, and then like just in real life, right? Like as I'm working on my garden or something, whatever, and an accident happens and I get cut open where I probably should have gone in and got stitches or what, but I just kind of tied it together myself and did my own medical aid on that. I kept working, man. I kept working while I was bleeding all over the place and all, right? Because it's like, if you're in a real conflict situation, this is where the reality stuff comes in. This is why I don't teach self-defense, because people won't do this. And people don't think about this. And people disregard this completely. But like, if you're out there protecting yourself or your loved ones or whatever, and you do get wounded, is that gonna put you down? Instructors say, you gotta keep fighting. Can you? Do you know if you are that kind of person or not, right? So like, there's so much involved when it comes to self-preservation and self-defense and all that stuff that it's just like, I don't even want to teach that shit anymore, because maybe I'll talk about all that in another video today or tomorrow or something like that. But it's in my mind frame from teaching for the last like 13, 14, how long has it been now? 15, 16 years, 17 years or something that I've been teaching. Like, dude, self-defense is so weird out there in the world that it's just, people are taking it to places where it doesn't even need to go. And then it's like, you have a lot of stuff that's it's just weird. It's just weird. It's almost like culty or something. Good morning. Have a great holiday. Looking forward to seeing you in March in Florida. Yes, I will be in Florida first weekend of March, teaching a weekend over there at our St. Augustine chapter. Chris Clark leads our St. Augustine chapter. I'm going to talk about some leadership stuff too here in a little bit. Back up your videos now. No. I back up like the online school videos. I've backed up all of my DVD downloads. That stuff I back up, but I've just always felt like YouTube videos were just not worth backing up, because I always kind of had that mindset of like, if I ever decided to just kind of cut things off, then it would like be cut off, right? So I always just kind of had that mindset. But, I'm going to leave them on there. You just got to become a member to see most of the videos, especially at least the past like 7 years of videos. Don't watch your videos as much as I would like, but do you use different blades or just the one? Also, karambit and maybe Chinese wooden dummy useful for practice hand to hand. So I know what I like, and I pretty much only use the blades that I like. I've trained with a lot of blades in my days, but I'm the kind of person that less is more. I think early on in your practice, you should experiment with different shapes, different lengths, different size blades, because the blade has to be kind of personalized to you, to the user. And then once you kind of find your weaponry, then you don't really need to be showing all these other things. Like, I could make videos on how to use a Gnunting, how to use a Panuti, how to use a Barong, how to use a Compulon, how to use a Talibong, how to use every single style of Filipino martial arts blade. But guys, it's going to be the same videos because it's all sword fighting. It's literally the same techniques. You're going to cut, you're going to thrust, you have the same manipulations. It's all the same footwork because it's the same system. It's just a matter of preference of what you like. But the actual technique the strategy, the tactics, the techniques, the attributes involved, it's all going to be the same. This is the strength of Kali, that it's one system that overrides all these other variants of force over material nature. Again, going back to the etymology of the word Kali. So like, you know, I get people like, can you do this with the machete when I'm doing this with a ginunting? Obviously. And to tell you the truth, I'm getting burnt out of the stupidity that is across social media and the internet. You know, and it's, as a teacher, I want to teach students, right? I want to teach people that are really into, like, I want to do this. I want to learn from this guy. I want to study this material. I want to go deep into this, because I don't want to have these basic shallow conversations of the differences of all these swords that all work the same way, right? I want to expand the conversation. I want to go deeper. And, you know, that will kind of lead into like the leadership program and my personal time spent in teaching Kali. I'm gonna get into here in a couple minutes. The best self-defense, I tell people, is get away. Giving advice with your lessons is good. No. Even looking stuff up for, like, say, medical emergencies, being self-sufficient. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a first aid, you know, I'm not a doctor. I'm not certified in any of that. I used to be when I was a park district employee for my hometown. I worked at the skate park. I was managing the skate park. I was, you know, CPR, first aid certified. I had to be. You know, it was a government job through the village and stuff. But I'm not that anymore, and I don't like giving out like that type of information. Like, I'm not going to give out medical information. I'm not going to give out, you know, legal business information. Like, that's not my areas of expertise. But we do have doctors. We do, and maybe that's something I'm going to do in 2022. Is I'll contact some of my students who are doctors, that is their professional field, and I'll have them, you know, I'll do a video with them, and then some of my students that are attorneys, they can explain about, you know, the laws of self-defense and all that stuff. So I can bring those people onto the channel, and that's something that I've been thinking about actually doing. I could bring on different teachers that their profession is teaching, not just in martial arts, but in the education system and all that, so that those of you who are teachers or want to become teachers, you know, that's kind of moving into our leadership program stuff, where, you know, I want to create the best worldwide team of Kali Center teachers. You know, so I'm going to get into that here in a minute. So, I'm from Philippines. I have been training Muay Thai and MMA for 6 years and have recently found your channel. And now I've been training for a month without an instructor, just following your YouTube. Ever thought about making your own blades? We are making training blades. So we're making some polymer training blades for sparring, and we're also making some steel blunts. It's just, you know, we're going through the process right now. We've set up an entire shop out in the Philippines. We hire retired Philippine military, retired Philippine Marines. And that's who we have making our blades. So we compensate them well above the Philippine national average income. So that's one of the goals that has been for Kali Center, is to create job opportunities for the people that have been really keeping this martial art alive, which is the Philippine Armed Forces. So yes, are we going to do live blades? No, because whether you know or you don't know, I am part owner of Top Product Blades, and that's where our live blades are at. So if you're interested in a live blade, then go to topproductblades.com and you can check that out. So, but we are through our new trigonalgear.com. That's our online shop that is a department off of Kali Center, we're doing training, all training equipment. So do a 1 meter sprint. Yeah, like people in self-defense, right? Like a lot of them don't train running. A lot of them probably, you know, they can't run a quarter mile or half a mile, you know, flat out to actually get away from danger, you know? Like there's just so much, man. There's so many people that want to train self-defense, they can't do 10 pull-ups. You know, they're just not physically, you know, they're like, oh, you don't need that. Dude, it's about improvement, right? Like, are you thinking about self-defense against COVID-19? You know, like, I mean, come on. Like, there's so much more to self-defense than just fighting another human being. Like, there's so much to it. There's so many ways you can go about it. That's why I just teach Kali, dude, and you figure out what you want to do with it. Good morning, David. What's happening? David is our Belgium chapter leader. So if you are in Belgium, Netherlands, anywhere around there, and you want to do some training with Kali Center, David is the guy to contact. Hello from Maine. What's happening? Yes, people get weird about self-defense and styles. That's why I just train, teach what I like. Love single sword. Love what you're doing. Keep it up. Yeah, dude, you get it, man. You get it. Right now, I'm doing the basics for a month now. Man, it's easier to find boxing and MMA gyms here in the Philippines than to find Filipino martial arts studios. I hear that all the time, Alan. Every day, I get messages and emails about that from the Philippines. Thank you for answering my questions. Have a lovely new year. Yeah, man, no problem, Ben. No problem. So let me just kind of start diving in. I'll switch gears here, and I'll kind of dive in. So I kind of explain a little bit of the YouTube channel. Plus I want to express more of my own creativity and stuff like that I've been doing. I have another channel that I started just a couple months ago. It's just titled Paul Ingram Kali, you know, because Kali is a big part of my life. And on that channel, I'm using, again, the word Kali as in the etymology of the word, not as Filipino martial arts of the world. It's the etymology of the word Kali. Okay? It's earliest origin of the word. Because that's what I follow as far as Kali. That's what I believe in as far as Kali goes. And on that channel, on my Paul Ingram Kali channel, I'm doing a lot more of kind of, like, that's where I'm putting more of my philosophical stuff, my thinking stuff. I'm showing my gardening. I'm showing the forests that I live in and the area that I live in, and showing that, you know, the beauty of nature. And it's really expressing, like, I believe in the continuous building, the connection with nature as a human. I think that a lot of us as human beings, we kind of have lost or neglected or ignored that we are nature, and that connection with nature, we've kind of either lost that or just completely ignored that. So that's what that channel is all about. So, and I'm doing a lot of, like, I'm learning a lot about film and storytelling and all that. So a lot of those videos they're all narrative, you know. So I do some voiceovers, I do some vlog style, and you see beautiful drone shots, and you're gonna, you know, it's not training, you know. There may be little glimpses of training here and there and workouts here and there, but it's kind of more of like a vlog and just like my own philosophical channel. That's Paul Ingram Kali. So you can check out that channel, subscribe to it. I think we have almost 800 subscribers on it right now. I don't post on it all the time. I really am taking my time with those videos and just, you know, doing my own creations and stuff. And I don't care if that channel does anything. I don't care if it's really just my own personal journal is what it is. I like journaling in video format. I don't really like journaling writing. I can't write fast enough. I can't express enough when I'm writing something down than when I can video it and edit it and put it together. So that's what's going on as far as YouTube goes. So there's still going to be videos here. I'm going to be doing, throughout 2022, I'll still be posting some drill videos, some new drill videos, here on the channel for everybody. I'm going to be doing a lot more for the members area. I'm going to be doing some, like, monthly classes, and those will be the long form videos. So I'm going to be starting off like, this is Kali Class 1. This is what it's like training with me, you know, and this is exactly the methods of how I teach, the order of sequence of how I teach, and that's going to be available for our members here on the channel. And then I'm going to be doing some other like Kali life videos where I'll show you guys, just how Kali's incorporated in my life, and how it's more than just swinging sticks and stuff like that. Again, I want to inspire other people to get the most value out of Kali, and their training and their exploration of it. I want to bring more value to you guys. I'd rather bring more value and suffer in views and new subscribers and channel growth, and the hell with that. I just don't care about that anymore. I have personal things going on in my life where I won't need to be on the internet anymore. Like, I won't need to be doing this stuff anymore. It's more of like, I want to do this stuff. Okay, so I want to make videos. I want to keep Kali Center going. I want to, keep doing my part and hopefully getting more people on board with living a more fulfilling life and stuff like that. So got a lot of things in the works. I can't talk about any of that stuff right now because we're still in the business in the process of finishing up business entity formations, but it's big. It's huge. If all goes well, probably the whole world is going to know about what we're doing, and within the next 12 to 18 months. So I'm really excited about that. Now, going back into Kali Center, where am I going to be putting most of my actual personal Kali time into as far as Kali Center LLC, the business, is I'm going to be, as some of you may or may not know, we're kind of splitting Kali Center up into basically 3 departments. We have the Apex. Kali Center is the overall brand. Apex, that's the training. That's the online school. We do live stream classes starting in 2022, in next week, or whatever that is. Everything through our Patreon page. We're going to be doing 2 live stream classes a month. So even at our basic membership level, you can get access to those live classes. Tom runs all that stuff. We have online private video lessons where we can train with you privately. We can answer your questions. We can look at your techniques. We can, help you make those tweaks and start to improve your skill in Kali. If you have a training partner that you are, working out tactics with and sparring tactics and all that, you can jump onto a lesson with your training partner, and then Tom can run you through, like, he'll make those tweaks for you on how to formulate the drill to build that skill, and then how to start sparring with that skill, what to look for in the sparring, what to create in the sparring, so that way you can actually start applying your tactics with strategy. Again, something that most martial arts in the world, especially Filipino martial arts, look at this, turkey feathers. They never touch base on strategy and tactics. Most martial arts and self-defense is based off of technique versus technique training. And there's a problem with that. You gotta be basing your training off of strategy and tactics, because that's the only thing preemptive going into a situation. Is strategy and tactics. That's the only thing you have as you are entering the engagement, or you are observing your environment in preparation of an engagement. You don't have techniques yet. Okay? You got to be calculating timing. You got to be controlling range. You got to be negotiating your tactics, and then you got to physically perform the stuff. The technique is the actual thing that you're doing. You don't know what you're going to be doing until that exact moment in time arrives. So technique versus technique, that doesn't teach the most important skill that needs to be developed in martial arts, which isn't technique, it's ingenuity. All right, so you got to have that. You got to have the right training methods, the right process to develop ingenuity, so you can actually adapt to situations. People think that I train, some hubud, and I train some jabs and crosses and some round kicks and some straightforward kicks, do some knife cuts and some stick whacks, that they're like, I got it, man. Maybe you do after, so many, regular, average, whatever people and stuff, but you don't know who you're fighting. You know, so we bring stuff on, you know, we bring stuff in, you know, in a different way. So my personal time as far as Kali Center. So Tom takes the Apex stuff. Like everything that's on our Patreon, live stream classes, one-on-ones, Tom is doing all that. And people are loving it, guys. People are loving it. That is a way that you get to train with us more personally, no matter where you are in the world. Okay? And all that starts off at our basic level on our Patreon, which is like $20 a month. And because we have students that are, you know, all over the world in our online school and our Patreon, that's why we just, you know, we don't really need to be monetizing this channel and worried about channel growth and all that stuff. So I get to change things here on the channel and make it more fun for me. Tom is running our other Kali Center YouTube channel, Kali Center Channel 2. He's running that, so you can always check out that YouTube channel as well, so you get the teaching and perspective from Tom. Ali he handles everything Trigonal Gear. So all of our online store stuff, Ali is running that. That leaves me with more time for our chapter leaders. For our leaders that we're looking to grow all around the world. That makes me more valuable to train you guys, to answer your questions, whether it's training questions, teaching questions, running a chapter questions. We have a whole, like all of our chapter leaders, we have a whole community that everyone can converse with each other and help each other out. This is what works in, you know, this guy growing his chapter, or this one growing their chapter. And you get to share ideas and help each other grow. And I jump in there and I'm like, hey, this is what's worked for me in the past when I had my brick and mortar schools in Chicago. There was a time that I ran 4 locations at the same time in Chicago. So yeah, I did pretty decent running brick and mortar schools and stuff and classes and everything all throughout Chicagoland. So now I'm bringing all that to people who want to be chapter leaders, people who want to bring Kali to their area through Kali Center. And that's where I'll be spending a lot of my kind of more personal Kali time in 2022 for our chapter leaders. You know, I've had people in the last few months asking me about private training, asking me about hosting me out for seminars, and I have to decline a lot of people now because I'm like, I'm only giving those opportunities to my chapter leaders and people that are in my Apex, that are in Apex and that are already training with us. Because before people come and train with me privately, you know, personally, I'm like, here, go through this information. Let's take a look at how you're doing so that when you are here, you've done this amount of solo training so that we can maximize your time with me, because I'm not cheap when it comes to training with me in person, especially one-on-one. I want to make sure that you're going to get the most out of it and that you're going to really get so that's what's going on there as far as my personal teaching time. I'm just being very, very selective now because I have so much else to do. And I know that that's the very, very few people out there that are interested in that. ITC, we have our 2022 Immersion Training Camp. That's happening July 13th through the 17th. All the information, registration is on KaliCenter.com. That's another thing that kind of annoys me is when like I put a little post out there about a training event and they're like, where can I get the information from this? Please tell me you are not a self-defense instructor and you can't do a little bit of diligence work. You know, you cannot be teaching awareness. You cannot be teaching observation and then ask a question like that. You know, like go to KaliCenter.com. read the description box below the videos, especially when I say in text on the video or in the post, colliecenter.com, link in the description. Please tell me you're not one of those people making a comment about my lack of ability of fighting and all these things when you can't even like observe something literally just straight in your face that you can rewatch over and over and over and over again as many times as you want. You guys can tell I'm a little frustrated. I'm frustrated because I've been watching the world for the last 2 years. And I have to say that I hate to say there's just a lot of stupidity out there in the world. And I know people will say that about me, but the lack of awareness and observation from people that are like, you need to train awareness and observation, it's just astounding. When someone says on one of my videos that, oh, this guy, he's a joke, he doesn't know how to fight, he doesn't know what he's doing, on a karambit video that I made about how, you know, this is the worst everyday carry tool, and they're all like, you're just dancing, that's not how you fight with a karambit. Right, you are just perpetuating my actual point. That's not a long-range weapon, it's only good, you gotta be up close, and you gotta be... Right, again, you are perpetuating my point of the karambit not being a good everyday carry weapon. It's not diverse enough. That's why I don't like the karambit. Personally, it's just not diverse enough. I didn't say it was a bad weapon altogether. I said it was bad. It was the worst everyday carry blade. I'm not going to use it in my garden. I'm not really going to be using it in survival. I have to be at one range in a very specific manner to operate it. Right? Like it's too limiting for an everyday carry tool. That's it. If you believe differently, then you go after that. But in my personal experiences, it's too different. So it's like people are just saying what I'm literally saying, they're just rewording what I'm saying in the video, and they think they're telling me something different. And I'm like, lack of observation. You know, and if they do a little bit of research on me, they learn, like, Paul Ingram trained in Salat. He's trained, like, he's been doing this stuff since he was 6 years old. But again, lack of awareness, lack of observation. Awareness, right? If you have awareness, that means you will take a few minutes out of your day to research something. Everybody's about fact-checking nowadays. So go fact-check me, dude. Right? Go Google Paul Ingram, Collie Center, and you're going to see. I used to have affiliations with this guy. I've done training over there. Like, you're going to see these things pop up. You know, and I say it. It's never been a secret. You know, it's like, because I don't put sparring videos up on my channel. I never spar. I've never sparred in my life. You know, I grew up as a skateboarder in Chicago, but I've never been in a fight in my life because I never put a video of me on YouTube in an actual street fight. I'm 37 years old. I don't give a fuck about street fights anymore, dude. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? But all that stupidity, like, I don't want to spend my time around those people. You probably don't want to spend your time around those people. Most people, and of course those are popular videos, right? Those are the videos that have hundreds of thousands of views, and there's nothing you can do about that. You know, everybody knows best. Clearly I don't know best because I'm still researching. I'm still studying. I'm still training. I just don't put what I'm personally doing here on YouTube because that's not what this channel was intended for. This channel was intended for you to try something, try a movement, try a drill, go have fun, you know, and that's what this channel is really all about, you know, and then go find somewhere to train. If you don't have, you know, go look in your local area first and find somewhere to train. You know, there are Filipino martial arts teachers and classes and stuff out there. And some of the people that hate me, that used to be friends with me when I used to train with them way back in the day, and people are like, hey man, is there anyone that I can find in this area? I'll just fucking say it because I don't even give a shit. You know, like anyone in the Bay Area, San Francisco, yes, go train with Ferd from PTK SMF. We used to be friends a very long time ago. Go train with him. I still promote these guys. I still promote Tim Wade. I'm like, if you can, I don't know what the hell he's doing. I don't follow these guys anymore. I don't pay attention to these guys, but I'm like, yeah, dude, like go train with him. I trained with him. You know, if you're in San Diego, if you can get a hold of Roy Harris, go train with Roy Harris. Go train with Vu. Go, you know, if you're in Anthem, Arizona, north of Phoenix, go train with my teacher, Matt Numrick. That's where his school is. He's not doing JKD, Kali, and all that anymore. He's doing his Krav Maga stuff, but he's a great teacher. That's the guy that you want to go seek if you are in Phoenix. Go seek Matt Numrick. Like, I still promote all of these people. I don't always go on every single YouTube video and say, you got to go train with all these people and my teachers and all this stuff. No, but when you message me or you email me with your personal questions, I give you personal answers, right? So any of these people in the world, they can send me an actual email or DM me on Instagram and I'll converse with you, you know? Or, you know, just do some research. Do some real simple, basic Google research. And trust me, if there's somebody on YouTube, you know, that's been growing a channel and all that, and you're going to find information on those people. And I have nothing to hide. I've always been an open book. So it's just so annoying. So annoying. Yeah, don't even get me going into that stuff. Maybe I'll do that later on, as far as like before the Spanish came to the country. Now we have, okay, so here, I'll give you a little taste of that. So for the last 5 years, okay, I've put a little bit of time studying in some Spanish martial arts. My student John, who's a business partner of mine and a chapter leader of mine, trains in Destreza, and him and I exchange information. We train together all the time. If you come to ITC, if you come to 2022 ITC, you will personally be able to train with John. He will be there. He's our Destreza guy. He's our Spanish sword guy. You can train with him. Okay, you can ask him all the questions of Spanish swordmanship. He's been a student of mine since 2012. He's really fucking good. Like, he's gonna kick your ass all over the fucking place when you spar with him and train with him at ITC. He's a great guy to train with. Really, really skilled, really, really talented, and he'll train at your level, okay? He's aggressive as all hell. He's methodical in his training. He's very strategic, extremely tactical. He's in a very, very good resource. If you are in Seattle, Washington, that's the guy to go train with, okay? But, you know, about 5 years ago, I started coming out every now and then talking about Spanish techniques in Filipino martial arts. Everybody was chewing me out for it. That's bullshit. Kali's more ancient. And I never said that it wasn't. But I said that after the Spanish, there was a lot of integration of Western swordsmanship, Western martial arts in Filipino martial arts. No, that's all the Filipino pride comes out. Now, in 2021, now there are respectable grandmasters of very well-known systems, Filipino martial arts systems, of Kali Silvestrissimo, Grant Tuan of Pakiti Turcha himself, and just in a recent video, they're all coming out now saying, talking about the Spanish influences in those styles and systems. Now they're starting to come out and talk about it. And now I've got people in the Philippines and Gung Ho Pride, FMA Pride, that are like, oh man, I gotta go start checking out this Spanish sword fighting stuff. But they're all giving me shit. 5 years ago when I started pointing this out. Now that the grandmasters of today are now starting to come out and say that, Illustrissimo, I mean, Rami Makapagal just did an interview last year on FMA Pulse. It was an hour and 42 minutes and like 16-second interview or something like that. And for maybe 10, 15 minutes, he was ranting about this. This is why you see a lot of Spanish techniques in Calis Illustrissimo. Grant Tuan just came out with it was like an 8-minute something, under 9-minute interview video just a couple months ago, talking about how they had to learn from the Spanish because the Spanish were really fucking good at what they did. People need to understand something. The felling of Magellan happened in 1521. Legazpi didn't get to the Philippines until 1564, taking over Cebu in 1565. By the time Magellan wasn't there for the Philippines. Magellan was there to learn new trade because the Spanish called it the Spice Islands, and that's what they were interested in, was the spices. And he was looking for the fastest route to circumnavigate the globe. He wasn't there for the Philippines. But I don't know if you've ever went on a sailing voyage in a ship like what they used to do. It takes a while. So you're going to have to like stop places and foreign places, make friends because you're going to need a port. You're going to need to resupply. And the only thing you could resupply with is with the resources that are there. And when Legazpi came, most of the Philippines was taken diplomatically, not through actual war. You can do your own research on that, right? But Magellan had one ship. What was it, 60 Spaniards? And he was also given misinformation about Lapu-Lapu and, his tribe. And yeah, Magellan was a cocky motherfucker. He paid the price for it. But you got to understand something. By the time you get to 1560s, when they did conquer the Philippines, they've already been on this side of the world. Cortez already conquered Central America all the way into South America. Legazpi was here. He was already here working and fighting natives and fighting people and fighting Aztecs and Inca and Native Americans. And they already established St. Augustine. So all of that experience before Legazpi got to the Philippines in 1564. I believe it was November of 1564, and then he took Cebu in February of 1565. I mean, Legazpi, like, there's statues of him. He was on Filipino pesos. Like, he's a very recognized figure in the Philippines. And when I was saying that, that there was a Spanish influence, a Spanish learning of Spanish technique in Filipino martial arts, that's not degrading to Filipino martial arts. That's empowering. Because my heritage from Iberia Peninsula and Italy and the Germanic area of that, and Celtic area of the Western world, when I go back in my past and I read my past of the Iberian Peninsula, dude, first of all, we were in constant conflict between Celts and Iberian Celts. Constant tribal conflict all the time. No different than the Philippines, no different than the native tribes here in America. Exactly the same. We were taken over by the Muslim. We were taken over by the Greeks. We had incredible trade with the Phoenicians, with Egypt. And then the Greeks took over. Probably there was an exchange of mathematics there, right? Because geometry, trigonometry, calculus, all that stuff was really, really gung-ho discovered and developed through ancient Greece. And we can only go based off of what we have that was documented. I'm going to come back to that. And then, after Greece, it was Rome, and then it was the Anglo-Saxons that took over Iberia. So do you think that the Spanish by the time they got to the Philippines, by the time they came to Americas, do you really think it was only an Iberian art? These guys learned from worldwide resources. Information was exchanged. This is a human art. It's not a cultural thing. It's human. And that strengthened Iberia. That strengthened it all the way up to the point where in the 1400s, in the 15th century, the Spaniards set sail to do their conquering of the world. Okay? Maybe in another 100 years, the Philippines are going to be spanning across the world and conquering the world, because all that information found its way to the Philippines, and that's strengthening Filipino martial arts. So I don't understand why you'd want to have all this pride that's just like sucking all that away when there's a huge opportunity to learn. There's a huge opportunity to expand your skill, to expand your knowledge and understanding of the skill of the blade, which then translates to all other forms of combat. That's why militaries today still study Alexander the Great's tactics. They still look at it. And they still apply a lot of it. And you're not going to sit there and be like, Alexander the Great's not American. We won't use it. You're learning from it. It's an incredible source. Like, why would you not want to learn from all the victorious conquerings of Genghis Khan? Why? Because you're not Mongolian? because you're a Spaniard or you're a Filipino, you can't learn from Genghis Khan because he was a Mongolian? Come on, what is that? So there's so much opportunity for growth here in these cultural exchanges. And this is year 20. We're coming into 2022. 2022. The Spanish occupation, okay, is over. It's over. Okay? The American occupation is over. It's all been over. It's done with. So we should be looking at that differently. And, you know, they're like, oh, well, you know, the Spaniards, they skewed the history of the felling of Magellan. First of all, Magellan wasn't a Spaniard. He was Portuguese. Okay? And his recorder, Antonio, that was on his ship, wasn't Spanish either. He was an Italian. Now, of course, Portugal and Italian were under King Philip II of Spain's rule at that time, right? So they were still kind of working for him. But here's the thing. The Filipinos already knew how to write. Okay? Their oldest writing language comes from an Arabic form of writing that has been traced back to the Nabatahan tribe of Petrojordan. You can do the research on this because I've spent months doing this research, putting these timelines together, okay? And you can do it too because it's all free information out there, and you can do this because people have already put this together. But here's the thing. You cannot complain that history was skewed because this is the way that this side wrote about it when the Filipinos had writing languages back then. They had the opportunity to write about it too. They chose not to. They chose not to. Okay? So nowadays, it's not our fault, people that are looking into this information, it's not our fault that the people back then didn't think about it, didn't think about the future, didn't think about preserving the information for future generations around the world that would have an interest in this stuff. No, because they were too busy fighting and surviving, doing the things that we pretend to do in our martial arts classes. Right? But it's just interesting how now that these Filipino respectable masters are coming out saying this stuff. Yes, you know, Rami Macapagal comes out and said, you know, he's like, I'm preserving the Kali's Illustrissimo, and in a 1 hour, 42 minute and 16-second interview, 10 to 15 minutes, he's literally talking about the technique influences and the specific techniques that are Spanish in Kali's Illustrissimo. And then GT is saying the exact same thing about Pikiti Tertia in a recent interview that was just under 9 minutes long. That was earlier this year, just a couple months ago. Like, I still keep track of all this stuff, you know, and it's just funny how I get shit for that, and then a few years later, now all these Filipino masters are coming out, and they're all saying what I was saying 5 years ago. You know, it's like back in 2015 when I started an online school, and all my peers were giving me shit for it. You can't teach this stuff online. Paul Ingram scamming people. You know, you're a fake, you're a this, you're a that. And then COVID-19 hits, and now all these schools are moving everything over to online training. Because I'm like, I just saw the future of this stuff. That's all. I just saw it early. But that's the process, right? At first, everybody will ignore you. Then they laugh at you. Then they hate you. And then they learn to love you. And that's just the process. And I'm willing to be the devil if that's what it takes, you know, in order to keep the pearly gates of heaven open for you. You know, but that's it, man. So as you can probably hear the annoyance in my voice as I'm talking about this stuff, I just want to physically be around people who are intelligent. People who are intelligent enough to build ingenuity, to take a moment to do some of their own research, real research, not just going on a YouTube video and then, because this is a Filipino martial art, an old man in Filipino martial arts, respect him, probably great at Filipino martial arts, but now it's all fact, you know, everything that this person is saying without you doing your own actual research. You know, it's the telephone game, man. That's why Filipino martial arts is all screwed up now. A lot of martial arts are all screwed up now. It's the telephone game. You guys ever play that? You guys remember playing the telephone game back in like 2nd, 3rd grade? They did do the same thing to Bruce, dude. They did. Bruce Lee did not get any of his recognition until after he was dead. So I'm expecting the same thing to happen to me. You know, Socrates and Seneca, Aristotle got quite a bit. I mean, he was hired by King Philip of Macedonia to teach Alexander the Great from ages 16 to 18 or 19, right before he went off onto his conquest of Persia. You know, but even Aristotle didn't really, I mean, how would they, right? The world was not as connected at that time. But all these great minds, I'm not saying I'm a great mind or anything. I am in no comparison to Socrates and Aristotle and that. But I'm just a facilitator of research. That's it. That's all I am. My thoughts are not really original, though they tend to be very stoic, and I tend to live a stoic life. You know, that comes from teachings of other greats that were creating this world. But these people didn't get their recognitions until after they were dead. So I expect if I am to get any kind of recognition in the world, it'll happen after I'm dead. It will definitely not happen while I'm alive. Mozart. This is how every single realm is. Let's go into the realm of music. Well, you know, probably the greatest, if not one of the top 10 greatest composers that ever lived. Mozart died a poor man. When he was alive, nobody really knew who he was, except for if you were like in brothels in Austria, right, in Vienna. He was born in Salzburg and died in Vienna, right? And he didn't get any recognition for his music until well after he was dead. Beethoven too, by the way. Beethoven too. And if it wasn't for Beethoven and, you know, dun 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 dun, the power chord, he basically invented the power chord, we'd have no rock and roll music today. We'd have no alternative music today. We would have no pop music. Well, in Pachelbel, canon in D, then we would definitely not have any pop music of today, right? Like Taylor Swift would not exist if Pachelbel did not write canon in D. So like I used to play a lot of music. I was a big student of music as well. So I would go back to the origins of these, you know, progressions and all that stuff, and why certain musics exist today that exist. And this is what happens everywhere. Like Jesus, one of the most worldwide recognized figures, face, name, religion. He didn't get his recognition until well after his death. So I expect the same for me. If time, Kali, the feminine aspect of time, determines that I am worth any kind of recognition, it will not happen until well after my death. So that's just the way that it is, mathematically, logically. So I'm very well aware of that. You know, Bruce Lee did not, when he was alive. I mean, dude, Bruce Lee struggled. Bruce Lee had a hard fucking life. He struggled. And Bruce Lee never got to do what he really wanted to do on a mass stream. And I understand, you know, I think I understand the feeling of that, because as I'm going through YouTube and reflecting this all through this year, watching analytics, you know, looking at comments coming in and just kind of observing the average, you know, minds and all this that are coming in. And obviously I'm not talking about people that understand what I'm saying. I'm talking about the majority of people that are just out there. I think on a little scale, I understand a little bit of what Bruce Lee was feeling at the time, the conflict, what he was feeling at the time. And, you know, like Instagram, I go on Instagram, and Instagram, every 5 posts is an ad. And I'm looking at these ads. And as I was trying to figure out business, I moved away from martial arts and I went to whoever I can find. So I found people like, maybe if you're in business, you might recognize these names: Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, people like this. And I see these ads come up on Instagram. And I look at the comments because I'm curious. I see this comment on a Grant Cardone ad about how you can invest your money and understand sales and improve yourself and make another $300 a month or $1,000 a month or whatever, 10x your income, right? That's his whole thing. And I look at the comments and people are like, he's a scammer, he's a fake, he's an ass, he's a this, whatever, right? Then I see an ad for where you can send in a picture and you can have a portrait made of yourself in the old royalty 15th century look, right? And costs money. It costs money. And I look at the comments and people are like, this is amazing. This is incredible. This is just the conditioning of the human mind through marketing over the years, that people think they have control over what they're thinking and the decisions that they're making. You haven't been set free yet. Most people have not been set free yet. Now, while they're sitting there, same people are sitting there saying that Grant Cardone is a scammer because he's trying to teach you how to make money. And this person who is giving you a product to take your money is getting praised for taking your money off of a stupid fucking picture. I have personally used techniques in my business, in this business, in Collie Center, that I learned from Grant Cardone that has, I haven't 10x'd it, but I 5, 6, 7x'd my business. In just Collie Center alone. Just Collie Center alone. But yet the vast majority of people, see, when you give most people a path of opportunity, a path of preparation, man, they slander it. They slander it. Those are stupid people. And then those people get a path of consumption and they're praising that. This is the same stuff. If you've ever read On the Shortness of Life by Seneca, this is exactly what he talks about. If you are a teacher in martial arts, if you are a martial arts teacher, a self-defense teacher, if you are teaching anything about observation and awareness, and you have not read or at least listened to the audiobook On the Shortness of Life by Seneca, I don't know what you're teaching when you're talking about observation and awareness, because this is like thousands of year old information of observing human beings and human behavior. How are you teaching observation and awareness if you're not learning further about the essence of human behavior and human patterns and human tendencies and cognitive biases? Like, to me, that's like, they call me an irresponsible teacher for training with live blades, but those people are not irresponsible teachers for not learning the human psyche. Not what you want it to be, but what it has been recorded to be. If you're not reading Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, the last greatest emperor of Rome, like, we have access to this information. And you're a martial artist. And you're like, I'm using martial arts to improve my life, or I'm using martial arts for this and that and that. And you're not reading the best of the best people out there. Like, this information, by luck, by chance, was preserved. Marcus Aurelius' meditations, this was his personal journal. This was never meant for you and I to have access to. This was just him jotting down his own observations, his own expressions, his own experiences. You have access to that for 12 measly dollars. Someone said, don't get discouraged. Again, I have to say, though I love you, you're following College Center, and I see that you put a lot, you do a lot of engagement with College Center. But I have to say, don't get discouraged. That comment, it is a little ignorant, because I'm not discouraged from Kali, right? I'm just adjusting and making changes. But I hope that you guys are finding something that is interesting here, because as a teacher, I don't just want to teach people how to swing sticks and swing swords and all that stuff. I want to teach people how to think. I want to teach people about, formulating questions and how to formulate questions so you have better questions. So you can really continue to grow. So you get Kali, the etymology of Kali, fulfillness of your time over, your force over the material nature. All right? Because I don't know what you're doing with your life. Maybe you don't want to do much. I don't know. It's only for those who want it. But yeah. Yes, there are martial arts around the world that have their own styles due to their environment. That is true. That is true. But when you are forced into a certain environment that you can't leave because you have another invader that is dominant on a majority of your terrain, what do? You stay hidden in the mountains until it passes. That's an option, and that's a valid option. But for you to come down, you're going to have to learn that, because that's an opportunity of growth. And I think to disrespect the ancestors of the world who took that risk and lost their lives, and the ones that survived, held on to information, learned, adapted, we're doing them a disrespectful injustice by being hateful, being so hateful towards a certain type of people because of what happened over 100 years ago, or over 100 years ago, or whatever, or thousands of years ago even. Like my family, I have family in my family tree who were burned at the stake, okay, who were hanged, who were floated. Okay, like my family, we have a pretty extensive family history, like our family tree. And for whatever reason, my family documented things. That doesn't mean I'm going to go around now in 2021, 2022, going around hating all these types of people that persecuted and executed members of my family tree from, the 1700s. It's just stupid. The time has moved on. I'm not going to go over to the churches down the street and be like, no, you persecuted my family member back in the 1700s. No, they didn't. The world was different. The world was going through change. It's so stupid. It's so stupid to hang on to that hate hundreds of years later, right? And that's what I see when I look at the world today. People just hanging on to fucking hate just to hang on to it. And I see that in the martial arts, man. The martial arts is it's just filled with that. It's filled with that. And that's what I want to remove myself from, if that makes sense. So I'm not discouraged. I just want to make shifts in my own life. So I am more securing the rest of my life and the quality of my life by placing myself in these positions to be around people that I want to be around, right? That I want to have in my social circle, you know, and then everybody else can stay outside there. If that makes sense. So there's no discouraging here. Do you have any ideas on what time you will do those live YouTube classes, and will it vary according to your schedule because of the time difference in Belgium? So those are not going to be live on the YouTube when I'm doing the members classes. I'm going to pre-record those, Kenneth. I'm basically going to give you like the lessons. So it'll be like a 15, maybe 20-minute video, and it's going to be like the lessons, and I'm going to go progressively through. And obviously, a lot of it's going to be solo training, because my nearest student that can do the training that I teach is almost 400 miles away from me. Okay, so when I have access to my students, which is really going to be the chapter leaders, because that's who I want to promote more, then I'm also going to be doing some of these classes. You know, then we'll do some of the partner training and all that. But as I've said for years, there is so much work to be done in the art of Kali in solo training. People neglect it all the time. They're like, oh, you can't train Kali solo training. That's just a waste of time, blah, 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 blah. And then I look at their coordination, and I'm like, that's why you need solo training. So you don't look like that. So you're not performing like that. You know, because when you come out to an ITC, if you want to come out to an ITC and train with us in person, and you're not coordinated, it's gonna be you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna have a really hard time. And like I put in one of my recent posts on the community tab, you know, people are like, these guys don't spar, this guy never spars. Come to ITC. I will personally spar with you. We do basically the whole 5 days is sparring. In fact, I put up videos in the past of us doing drills live, and people are like, how often do you guys spar like this? I'm like, guys, we're not sparring. This is a drill. I don't know what the fuck your guys' sparring looks like and what your drills look like. Okay? Because I don't look at the masses of martial arts out there anymore. I don't look at it anymore. It's just not impressive to me. But when people come on, like when we're doing a live and we're doing a drill, and people are like, how often do you guys spar like this? And I have to sit there and say, guys, we're not sparring, we're doing a drill. What the hell does your training look like? So if I put out sparring, like people don't even know the difference between a drill and sparring. The way we do it, they don't even know the difference. But they think they got it all figured out because of what we put on YouTube. But again, they don't do the diligence work of going back to the very first video that I posted, explaining what this channel is about. And that's where it, you know, it's like, dude, man, you just can't, you can't. Yeah, I'm not saying you, dude. It's not a personal, I'm not personally attacking anybody. Let's see. But yeah, Kenneth, those will all be pre-recorded times. Now, as far as the Apex, the live stream classes that Tom is doing on our Patreon, those are set times. Those are going to be every second and fourth Saturday of the month. If any of those days fall onto a holiday, there will be an announcement and an adjustment of that time. We won't just cancel it. We will do it at another spot. But those will also be replays as well. There'll be replays on that. But you have to be a Patreon member to get access to those. All right. Hello, Paul. Still training with Apex Continuum, and thank you for the new added content. Sorry I'm not able to join your last ITC, but I still train every day. Yeah, dude, no problem. I know it's hard for people to get out to, you know, to a camp like that, especially right now in the COVID world, man. It's, you know, if you're having to fly overseas and all these different variants and all this halting and lockdown stuff and all, you know, the world's just on fire right now. But, you know, it's the last one. What can I tell you? That doesn't mean it's the last training. It just, this is the last ITC. Love what you do, brother. Keep it up. Thank you. To become a chapter leader, do you have to go to an ITC or seminar event or be trained with Patreon to be eligible? So yeah, I kind of redid all that stuff. If you want information on the leadership program, the chapter leadership program, send me an email. You'll find it. Go over to collegecenter.com. You'll see where it says leadership, or go to collegecenter.training too. You can go there too because it's right there. It'll be a little, couple little buttons that say request information or what, and then you can go read more about that, and then you can email me any of your questions or what, and I get back to you on that. That is the way the U.S. Marine Corps training is. Yep. I've been saying that it's not a cultural thing for years. They did the same thing to Bruce. Oh, yeah. Yep, I saw those. You just keep doing what you're doing. Well, yeah, that's all we can do. But I'm tweaking what I'm doing. I'm going to be giving more to more direct training to the people that I feel deserve it more. If you guys ever yeah. Right on, patient agree so far, and same here. I try, but sometimes my friends pick me. Flow with changes and found it's just a new door to bigger and better. Yeah, well, everybody else is choosing to stay far behind, right? You will never hear me talk about you never spar. I watch and keep my mouth shut. Well, I mean, you don't have to keep your mouth shut. Like, ask good questions. Open up conversation. Oh, man, you let me get close. But, yeah. Yeah, Kenneth, anytime. But yeah, 2022, that's what we're going to be doing is we're looking to build up more chapters and acquire more chapter leaders around the world. Because I get so many emails and messages all the time about the lack of Kali in people's areas. There's no teachers, there's no schools, I can't find it, I can't access it, I want to train. So we are providing an opportunity of solution to this problem. We are going to be, where we've been building out the leadership program. Leaders will have full access to all my online school material. You will have access to our leaders communication community, where you can converse with all the leaders around the world. And you will have access to me personally. You will be able to, we'll be able to do live one-on-one video training if you're somewhere in the world where you can't physically train with me. I've gotten pretty fucking good at teaching people across the world via video. I'm one of the originators who started doing this. And all that's going to be available to our leaders all around the world. So I will be far more available to leaders all around the world. But that's what's going on there. So we're going to be teaching you Kali, how we do it. We're going to be teaching you how to become a better and better teacher. So you can transfer this skill, transfer this information and the understanding of this information at high quality transfer rates to your students. And we're going to be teaching you how to run a chapter where you can have the potential to generate revenue. Because I want our chapter leaders to be leaders. And I want them to, if you decide as a chapter leader, you can keep it as small and intimate as you want. You can do it for free. You can teach for free. You can charge students money. You can start building up a revenue stream, which you should, and they should be paying you for your training because you are providing the information. You are providing your time. You know, you are going through this process. I do not believe in certifications anyways, so you do not need to worry about that. You just have to be a good standing member with our leadership program. And we will help promote you as well, because I get emails and I get, you know, messages and comments from people every single day from all different areas of the world about training Kali and training with Kali Center specifically, or just training Kali in general. And they're like, there's nowhere in my area. I can't find anything. And I figured I'm going to open up opportunities to people around the world who want to do it, who want to train, who want to learn, who want to train, who want to share the information, who want to find training partners, and maybe even potentially have a desire to want to share this information and work either at an extra income in their life or generate it into a full-time living. Obviously, these spots are limited because I'm only going to have one chapter leader per location. So, like, if you are in, like, Kansas City, Kansas, and we have a chapter leader there, and then you come in, you're like, I want to be a chapter leader, and you live in Kansas City, Kansas, I'm going to have to tell you, well, the position's already been filled. But this is where you can go to train. So our chapter leaders will have exclusivity to their locations. I'm not going to create competition for ourselves, but, then you have the backing of Kali Center. I'm going to be doing leadership retreats, leadership conferences for our leaders, which then our leaders' advanced students will also be welcome to come and train and attend. And we'll be doing some great training, man. And we're going to be doing training. We're going to be doing teaching drills, how to teach better. And then we'll also be answering chapter business questions, how to market, how to promote, how to sell, what's your pricing, how to work with prospects, how to work with students, better student retention, better training partner retention. So we're putting together this entire program to really create the top leaders in the world. That's what I want to create. That's moving into 2022. And then our leaders, that will become the new inner triangle at Kali Center. I've got a whole new platform, a whole new thing that is being worked on right now. We're in the early stages of developing this, where we'll eventually be switching everything over to this new platform. It's a mega platform, which is going to give you the best online training experience. I can't tell you what it is because it's literally being invented right now, and I'm a co-founder of this. It's a whole new technology, and it's a little hint of why I'm not going to really, I think I'm not really going to need Kali Center to be a really important stream of revenue anymore. But we're going to be attacking a whole new evolution to the online training experience. Something that has never been done before. So, got a lot of really cool stuff in the works that needs my attention. But yeah, we're building a lot of opportunities up for people all around the world that want to take the opportunity and jump on board in our leadership program. Does it cost money? Yes. Yes, it does. Will you be able to afford it? I don't know. That depends on you. But I think that it's been priced extremely affordable, especially because there's the potential of generating income, multiple revenue, multiple streams of income as well through our leadership program. So your chapter would basically be paying for your leadership program. And at least here in the States, if you know anything about how business works, that would be a tax write-off for you. So that would be a tax deduction your monthly or yearly payment to the leadership program would be a tax deduction. When you come out to our training conferences and our retreats, that would all, whatever you spend on that, we will teach you about developing an actual entity so you can gain these tax benefits as being basically a business owner, where you can reduce your taxes and you can live more through your chapter, and everything becomes cheaper for you. You know, like as a business person, when I go out to learn from somebody at a seminar or private training or something like that, I don't pay full price for that because I run that through my business. And at the end of the year, those receipts, I get to deduct those expenses because that is continued education for my business. So I don't pay full price on that stuff, you know, and you see the benefit of that at the end of the year. So we're teaching you all that for our chapter leaders. We're teaching you the ins and outs of a business and the advantages of running your own thing and how virtually running a chapter becomes free for you. And you just start making more revenue if that's something that, you know, you want to do. I think people should be, especially if you're taking the time, energy, money, all that to bring Kali into your area. Then we want to make sure you're taking care of them the best way. And we want to create a big global Kali Center team of the world's finest teachers. And maybe this will help to promote a new standard for martial arts teachers, or at least Filipino martial arts teachers. Because I see so many teachers out there in the world who teach, but they don't train. You know, they teach and then they come over to my channel and talk shit about how I don't spar and I can't fight and all this stuff. People who I've never met before. And I never go on their channels saying these things about them. Never. I don't care what people are doing in their own life. But, you know, maybe we can raise a standard, not just a standard of teaching quality, but a standard of etiquette. Because I look at it like this. If you are a teacher in Filipino martial arts, I don't care about the other martial arts out there. But if you're a teacher in the Filipino martial arts, if you are teaching based off of blade principles, you're standing next to me. You're sitting at the same table as me, right? And I'm sitting at the same table as you. And we need to be operating at a certain standard together, right? Now, some people have different ideas of what that standard is. That's right. I get it. But most people have never actually had a conversation with me about teaching and standards of teaching, and vast majority of people never trained with me. You know, 130,000 subscribers, you know, 500,000 people who watch my channel every month. Most are not subscribed. I have like 80% of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. They maybe 50 of these people, 50 out of almost 500,000 people have trained with me in person. Great, at least once. So people don't really know. People don't know, but they always have the opportunity to find out. You know, so but I've done. I think I can help people become good leaders, become good, high quality teachers in Filipino martial arts, and you know, I've been pretty successful at this realm in my life. You know, is Kali Center multi-million-dollar entity? No. But it's a multi-six-figure entity. I make a good living at it. And I'm putting that out there because I'm just being honest and transparent and authentic. And I've worked hard at building this thing. And I do very well for myself. This is why I can just walk around my woods and I can garden and do what I do. Many years ago, I had other Filipino martial artists in the Chicagoland area when I was teaching out there and I had my schools out there. You know, talking, because I hear everything through the grapevines. Because I'm very involved in the community. At least my team is very involved in the community. And I've had a number of other FMA teachers in schools in the Chicagoland area talk about how Kali Center and Paul Ingram's all about the money. And then long time ago, this was years ago, this is back in 2016, 17 maybe. I remember I jumped on YouTube and I'm like, this is what people are saying about me. I'm all about the money. And I said, it's partially true. Gotta confess, it's partially true. And here's why. Because those people are dedicating a couple hours a week to you. Because they have to work their jobs, they have to do other things. Kali Center is generating a very nice, livable revenue, which allows me to give you more time, more of my time. It allows me to keep thinking in innovating ways to improve your experience. Whether you are training with me in person, whether you're training with me online, whether you're watching a YouTube video, I have more time for you because I focused on growing the business, because I focused on making more money and generating a multi-six-figure business Kali Center in an industry, in a niche that barely exists to the world. Because I wanted to give more and more and more to you, right? I came out here partially for selfish reasons, to have my own forest, but also so I could be more productive for you, for my viewers. I'm constantly looking at how do I give more and more and more to the Philippine martial arts community. And I've dedicated the last 22 and a half years of my life to growing within the Filipino martial arts, to growing within Kali. You know, I started this journey when I was 15 and a half. I'm 37, you know, 37. Gonna be 38 in like 3 months. So I've spent my entire 20s and my entire 30s for you. Okay? I've gotten a little bit out of it. I mean, I've gotten a lot, don't get me wrong, but I'm constantly looking at, you know, when I formulated the online school, this online training thing, when I went from RFA Martial Academy to Kali Center LLC. I went from RFA Martial Academy LLC. That was my school when I was teaching up in Chicago. RFA stands for Require Further Achievement. And then I went to Kali Center LLC because I'm like, I was getting messages and emails from people all around the world for 2 years. 2 years. I want to train and there's nobody around here to train. There's no information. How do I do this? How do I train? From Sri Lanka. How do I train? I live in Sri Lanka. There is no Kali here and I want to learn so bad. I was getting emails every day from these people. And I sat on it for 2 years, giving someone else the opportunity to do what I've done with Kali Center. And nobody saw this. Nobody took it. Everybody was so busy. No, don't teach the secrets. Don't show this. Don't do that. Anybody could have had this. They all chose not to. Because why? They say I was selfish, that I'm selfish. They wanted to keep this from you. I wanted to give it to you. And I've given you 900 free videos right here on YouTube. And they call me the selfish one. The one who smelt it dealt it, right? All those people farted in your face. Can you believe that? And they're trying to call me out for doing that to you. And I never did. And I will continue to keep doing more and more. And how do I keep improving this experience for you? You know, so that's just the truth. And it's all backlogged. You can go through Facebook, you can go through Instagram, you can go through all the YouTube comments on all my past videos, and you can read all that information because I never deleted that. I kept it there. So now you can now go do that. You can go look at all of that. It's all available to you. So that way you know I'm not lying to you. I'm not juking you. But I do feel like there needs to be a change for me. Hopefully that makes sense. If this is your first of my end of the year rants videos, welcome. Welcome. Hey, what's new? A lot. I've been deep diving into Area 11. We'll be training much more in this area in 2022. Yeah. Always wanted to be a part of the leadership program, but was hindered by having to show up to a live event. Looking forward to seeing what's in the leadership program. So yeah, so I know I'm going to get shit from my community for the way I'm doing my my leadership program. Especially once I launch it next week, like officially launch it next week. Now they're all going to come out and be like, oh man, Paul Ingram, you're fucking scamming people again. Yeah, dude, you just wait and see. You just wait and see the fucking Kali beast that I'm going to be creating around the world. You wait and see. Because while all these people have been shut down because of COVID, I've been working on further developing how to teach you. Just wait and see. Wait and see what's in store. Thank you, dude, for spending your most valuable resource on us, your time. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that comment, Morgan. Let's see. Watching from Mexico. Nice. I appreciate these videos. We'll set up to get those sticks and pay those haters no mind. You have to pay the haters some mind. You have to reflect on that. That's a very important thing. All right, so as a business owner, as an artist, you have to still reflect on those things. You can't ignore the trolls and the haters. You got to give them a little bit of feed because they are important to some aspect. You have to observe other people's behaviors so you can understand how to keep your behavior on the track, on the path that you want to keep it, maintaining your conduct, your etiquette, right? It's a good reflection, and it will help to steer certain things in your life. How do you want to take your life? I don't look at these comments from haters and look at them as discouraging. I look at them as opportunities. What do I want to do with my business, Kali Center? What do I want to do with my life? Where do I want my life to go? If I only look at one perspective of all the people who support, then how do I get a really good, well-rounded observance and reflection? If you've read the Book of Five Rings, Miyamoto Musashi, he talks about this. If you've read Seneca, Socrates, Marcus Aurelius, they all talk about this. If you've read the Bible, it's spoken about. Don't ignore the people who hate you. Okay? Don't ignore that. Reflect on that. Learn from that. Adjust. That'd be like trying to avoid the person, right? We go back to self-defense. This person's attacking me and he's trying to kidnap my child and all this shit, and I'm going to avoid it? Some conflicts you have to face head on. Sometimes this is how you learn ingenuity. Okay? Don't avoid, because then you'll be avoiding for the rest of your life. And then you won't know when to apply the courage to engage. Don't avoid. Study, understand, reflect, ponder, and adjust. Negotiate your tactics. This is my first of your rants. Robert says, without you running your business the way you do, I would not know about Kali. I have bought some of your videos and I look forward to learning more from you. Yes. Yes. So when all those people back in the day and even today say that I'm a selfish person because of how I run my business, here's another perfect example in live time. How my selfishness is truly selfless. I train for me. What I do when the camera is off is for me. Okay? Half of the time. And then what I do when the camera is off is also for you. Remember, like I said millions of times before, what I show on YouTube, this is not really how I teach and what I do. Lesson from Master Jake Mace, how to change your haters into greatest motivators. Yes, yes. Guys, it's not just Jake Mace. Alexander the Great. King Darius III, his greatest hater. The Spartans hated Alexander the Great. Most of Greece did not like Alexander the Great. He had to spend 2 years before going to Persia to claim and maintain his throne over Greece for 2 years before he can even go into Persia and go face his arch enemy, Darius III. His greatest hater was his greatest motivator, taking the island of Tyre to free the Phoenicians, the last of the Phoenicians. Everybody watches Spartan the 300. King Xerxes was King Leonidas' greatest hater and greatest motivation. And now so many people aspire to be like King Leonidas. Or Ragnar from the Vikings, or Bjorn, Ironside, all these people that watch these shows, they're all motivated by their greatest haters. And then there's an even greater hater that comes once you've beaten that one. Right? And then what? And then you become better. I like Jake. I think Jake has a lot of courage. Jake Mace has some of the most courage I've ever seen in a martial artist. With the amount of shit that Jake Mace faces, that he deals with, and the fact that he keeps going, man, that is a very impressive display of courage. How many haters of his have their own YouTube channel and taking the risk of dealing with people just like themselves and have the courage to keep going? Whether I agree with Jake or disagree with Jake, that's irrelevant. I don't care about if he's doing things right or wrong. I'm not a kung fu guy. I don't give a shit about kung fu. I don't care about fighting like monkeys and dogs and birds. I fight like a human because that is Kali. But you cannot disregard his display of courage. and doing what he's doing, despite of all of that. Almost 2 million subscribers. Half of them probably hate him. And they express it. And he keeps going. Just like how so much of the world at the time hated Alexander the Great. How many Vikings, how many Norse, and how many English hated Ragnar Lothbrok? I'm just going into today's pop culture now. I know a lot of people watch those shows and go out into the world feeling or chasing after a feeling like they're King Ragnar. Instead of training. Relatability. All those people are just like that. Like Aristotle said, there's a fine line between courage and foolishness. Only the outcome, only the end will define whether it was courage or foolish. You don't get to decide that. Time decides that. Kali. Time. Etymology of the word. There are no good books that will really mention the principles of how to defend and fight against weapons. The only good thing there is training and having the right guidance and training. You want a good one? 2022 ITC. That's a really good one. That's a good resource. Go train. Go find people to train with and go physically train with them. If you can't physically train with them, do the next best thing. Go join Kali Center online school and start training. Don't read a book. You need to train this stuff. This is a physical requirement. Do not decrease their importance. They're extremely important. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I have the experience of dealing with people with hundreds of thousands, with millions of views, millions of people around the world. Do not decrease the importance of your haters. Keep it at the proper proportion. I got an awesome testimonial from our shared student, Joel, that melted my heart. I heard he was ill and was in the hospital once he arrived in South Dakota. Give him a shout out and check in on him. What? Once he arrived in South Dakota? I don't know if he, I don't know. Like he went back to South Dakota? Joel had a good time, man. He had a good time. I love Jake, man. I spent time with Jake. I flew out. I spent over $1,000 to go meet Jake Mace and do a couple videos with him, hike, have philosophical conversations with him. I like Jake as a person. I like Jake. I don't know about kung fu stuff. I'm not a kung fu guy. I don't give a shit about kung fu. But I like Jake as a person. I had actual real contact and communication conversations, deep conversations with him. And from time to time, I still do. I would consider Jake to be a distant friend of mine. Okay. Extremely athletic. His videos don't even do any kind of justification for the level of athleticism that person actually is. Like I said, kung fu wise, I don't know, I don't care. But just him as a person, what I personally experienced, what I spent over $1,000 to go fly out and meet the person that everybody was talking shit about. Because I will do that. I'll do that. When I see the world ripping on somebody for what they do, don't do, do right, do wrong, I will spend the money to fly out there and go meet the person in the flesh, in the blood, And I will go and conversate, train, or whatever, spend actual time with that person and get to know that person, while the whole rest of the world is still speculating on what kind of person he is and all this shit. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, people who are Kung Fu guys, I'm not a Kung Fu guy. Okay? So none of that means anything to me. I don't know. I just, for what I've seen of Kung Fu, I look at things that Jake has done, and I'm like, well, it looks better than some of these masters that I've seen on YouTube. Looks better. He's very healthy. I mean, you can see it in his skin when you look at these other Kung Fu practitioners around his same age, and skin-wise, you can look like, dude, they're not as healthy as Jake. Jake's an extremely healthy person. His work ethic is extraordinary. Extraordinary. Even when dude, I tired him out. When I spent a week with him the first time, I tired him out so fucking hard. He was falling asleep Thursday night when him and I were at dinner. And he just kept fucking going, dude. Kept going. The guy's work ethic is amazing. Amazing. That is something we all can learn from Jake Mace, is his work ethic. Like I said, I don't give a shit about Kung Fu, so I don't judge a man I'm not judging him by his Kung Fu. I'm judging him just by the person that I experienced in the flesh and blood of Jake. The dude can take a fucking punch, too. The dude can take some damage. Because him and I did some training, worked some stuff off camera. I'm telling you, the dude can take some serious punishment. So, Kung Fu or not, you know, his fighting ability of Kung Fu and whatever, the dude can take some punishment. Physically and emotionally. Clearly, emotionally, he doesn't give a shit. He actually practices Tao. He actually practices the disattachment to material things. So, which is pretty Kung Fu, if you ask me. I don't know how many other Americans are actually living that. But he's an impressive person that I've met in the flesh and blood. While everybody else is speculating his actual person over videos. Spend a few $1,000s to go meet the fucking guy. What the hell what are you afraid of? It's like, it's crazy. Plus, if you do it right, you know, $1,000, man, it's a business write-off. But yeah, he's a pretty impressive person. And I only say that because I actually met him. I can't talk like that about everybody because I haven't met everybody. What books do you recommend on combat and self-defense? None. I do not recommend any books on combat and self-defense. I recommend training. Go train with people. Go find an actual teacher that you want to go spend time with, learn from, and train with. And go spend the money training. Don't spend the money on the books. Spend the money on the training. I do not recommend any books on combat and self-defense. I recommend you putting your time, your energy, and your money in training. Not in books. Purchase DVDs. Get a visual. Get a real visual that you can watch and you can slow-mo and you can repeat over and over and you can actually see how the movements are done. You can piece it together, if anything. But otherwise, put the time and the money into actual physical training. We have better technology nowadays than books on this stuff. Martial arts is a physical requirement. Yes, there's a lot of knowledge in here, but it's a physical requirement to perform it. Go put the money into the training. There is 0 books I recommend. 0. If you want a different answer to that, go find somebody else to give you a different answer to that. Oh, he moved to South Dakota. Man, he must have really loved it out there. Dude, those videos with Jake were so fun because I actually learned a lot of stuff. So off camera, like behind the scenes, Jake and I did a lot. You know, we only filmed what, maybe 20 minutes of the whole week that I've been out there. And then I went back out there again. I went to a Brendan Burchard high performance training thing. And then I met up with Jake when he was still living out there. And, you know, we did a few more, you know, we went to dinner and all that stuff. I got to meet Nicole, everything. She's a sweetheart. She's awesome. And, you know, I got to, you know, I've spent time with him. I consider him a distant friend. I love what he's doing. But yeah, those are fun, man. I learned so much from that. I love what Jake is doing right now. It's reflecting a lot of who he really is, and how he really is, and what he really is. Right, that's why they have to learn how to formulate questions. Okay, you're going to get an answer relative to the question that you ask, and I cannot say that that's what that person meant because they didn't say it that way. All right, come train. Like if people come and train and they see how Tom and I interact with each other, you're going to see how very particular Tom is with his wording and with his questions and formulating his questions. He's very tactical when it comes to forming his questions, because the questions that you ask is going to lead you down a path, and if that's not the path that you really wanted to go down, you fucked up because you didn't formulate your questions right. Okay, so formulate your questions. Spend time with that. Mindset. If I was to answer that to your rendition of the question, Morgan, for mindset, hang on, let me see if I even got time to do that. Yeah, I got a little bit of time here to do that. Most of the mindset of mine, I think I was just born with. You know, what I display in YouTube videos is you know, that's not quite the same. You know, my childhood growing up was very different. It wasn't necessarily, you know, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't sunshine and rainbows. I lost a lot of friends young. My best friend, she died of bone cancer when we were 13 years old, a month before she turned 14. I watched her for 2 years die. I've had friends that died in violent accidents. I lost a lot of friends to drunk driving accidents, even right there by my house growing up. Saw my friend laying there dead on the curb. I have friends that were shot to death in Chicago, stabbed to death in Chicago. I've had, from a baby to 20 years old, I've been to a lot of funerals. I have seen terrible things. I have witnessed terrible things I don't talk about openly here on fucking YouTube. Doesn't mean that they didn't happen. You know, people have lives. And I wasn't really the best person when I was in my early teens. You know, when I talk about how knife attacks are, I wasn't the one defending, dude. I was not the best person to be around for a number of years. I understand a different side in the psychology of the knife and attacks and being not a good person. And I've done a lot of self-growth from that time. And I've had a lot of good experiences growing up too, but I've had a lot of hard moments, a lot of hardship is a good word for that, growing up in the Chicagoland area. Things that, you know, I moved out here because I don't want my kids to even be in the environment of the risk of having to go through some of the things that I went through. And not everybody in that environment experiences things that I've experienced or witnesses things that I've witnessed. But I think my mindset has a lot to do with the environment. I'm a product of my environment. And my environment wasn't great all the time. You know, the only person I really talk to about this besides Tom is Christy, my life partner here, Christy. You know, she knows. She doesn't even know everything, but she knows a lot. But I've watched some pretty nasty things. I may have never been in Afghanistan fighting a war, but I've witnessed some pretty nasty things on the civilian side of life. You don't have to be living in the Philippines to watch somebody die from knife wounds. Okay? You don't have to be living in the Philippines for that. You don't have to be walking around, you know, grunt talking and fraying your eyebrows and trying to act like you're a hard ass of life, you know, to have experienced hardships in your life. Okay? I am actively, for the last, I don't know, since my late 20s, for the last 10 years, been actively pursuing a more peaceful, harmonious life, more positive life. My training didn't start off to be positive. My training started off so I knew how to fight better. Not self-defense, so I knew how to fight, so I knew how to attack better. Okay? Because I understood these people. I understood because I was around these people. I was around the people who made the bad decisions of coming into your house. Those are the people that I was around. Those are the people that I grew up with. Not the people who were defending the weak. Not the knights of glory. I was on the other side. Those are the people that I grew up around. Not all of them. I also had good friends, especially once I started skateboarding. Skateboarding alone is what saved my life from a life of being a criminal and going to jail. And it's probably like my cousins. I've got cousins that are serving life sentences. Right? So I'm not really, you know, necessarily. So my past, I'm a product of my environment from my past. As far as books to exercise the stoicism that I've naturally developed in my life, it really, you gotta find the Stoics. Socrates and Aristotle and Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, and those are the books that you want to be investing your time into if you're looking for a mindset that is somewhat, you know, on the path of mind, which is Stoic. You know, I only worry about the things that I control, that I can control. I don't worry about the things that I cannot control. You know, I don't worry about dying because I'm gonna die, and I can't control that. Science right now, science prediction is that human quality of life could only go up to about 150 years. Maybe one day that will change, but that's it, man. That's right now, that is the prediction. That is the forecast. 150 years is the optimal living for human life. Anything past that, human body will just rapidly decay anyways, and there's nothing you can do about it. As far as science today, because I research all that, follow a lot of that stuff. So those things are inevitable, not in my control. I don't worry about that. You know, I just do what I can do, what I can control. So you just got to spend time around, you know, mindset of that if you're looking to develop a mindset of mine. And when people say, like, how do I develop a mindset like mine, I recommend them not to, because I don't know if you can without going through some shit. So this isn't me doing a double stick, fun, cheery double stick drill video on YouTube right now. Okay. The people that come and train at ITC, they see a different side of me, because when I'm training, there's just a different side that comes out. I'll break your fucking hand, dude. I will not feel bad about it. You know, I don't, it doesn't bother me. When I'm training, I don't care. You know, now, when I'm training in a manner of coaching and teaching and all that, then I do care. I care very, very much about my students. But when I'm training to, like, fight, I don't care. I will look for every way to cheat. If you got a mask on, I will crack you in the back of the fucking head. I don't care. Okay, and that's, I don't know. I've been working on in my life to turn that off. If you got a glove on, I will break your elbow. Like, I don't care. If you got elbow protection on, dude, I will, dude, it doesn't matter. I will find a way to hurt you when I'm training for fighting. Okay, I will go around your armor. I will find a way. And I don't care how long it takes me. I don't care what I have to do. I will do that. And, you know, that's something I've been working on for a lot of years now to curve around that. Because there's times, even in my life today, where that mindset comes back. You know, if I am in public, even with my kids, and I see certain patterns happening, that I will recognize that mindset coming in. And I want to be very, very careful about if I have to make that decision of severely hurting another human being, not for me, not for my emotional state, but for my kids, because then my kids would have to live the rest of their life with that memory of their dad doing that to another human being. I'll set you on fucking fire, dude. I don't care. Okay? But I don't want my kids to watch me set you on fire, if that makes sense. So I have my own conflicts personally. I'm going to be going into a lot of that on my other YouTube channel eventually. Like I'll be going more into that if you want to kind of get to know more of my personal, like how my brain works and stuff, and my own psychologies and stuff like that, and my own philosophies and stuff. I'm very philosophical, and I think a lot. Been doing a lot of research on mindsets and all that stuff because I'm trying to alter mine. Right? I'm trying to figure out how to alter my natural state. If that makes sense. So I don't know. I don't know if achieving my mindset is really something people want to do. My natural state of mindset, because like I said, I'm a product of my environment that I grew up in. You know, I'm almost 400 miles away from Chicago, but Chicago hasn't left me. In my experience, my cousin was out here just last month, and him and I were talking about it. I'm like, certain things happen where it's like, I'm ready, dude. I'm ready for a fight. I'm ready to engage. And it's like, this is one of the most peaceful places, you know, and I still carry that shit with me, and I don't want to do that. I'm looking to change my mindset. While I hear people, they're like, how do I achieve your mindset? I'm like, you don't want it. You don't want it. You want to achieve my mindset? Create a YouTube channel just like this and deal with all the bullshit critics that are going to sit there and tell you. And don't sit there and try to decrease the importance of your haters. Take them head on. Face them head on. Walk into the storm. Walk into the fire. Okay? That's my mindset. When there's tornadoes, I'm out here on my back porch like, you want to fucking take me? Take me. I don't give a shit. That's my real natural mindset. I don't care. I'm going to die. I don't give a shit about dying or living. I want to live, but I don't care if I die. Right? It's just life. And I'm trying to change that. I appreciate life. I love life. But at the same time, I don't have to have it. Right? So there's a lot of conflict in it. And I don't think that is the happiest way to live. For a long, long time, happiness was and kind of is not important to me, but I'm trying to change that. So I can give my family a better life. So I can be better for them. So be careful what you wish for. Because I think a lot of like my mindset, it attracts a lot of the shit in your life. It attracts whatever your life and experiences in your life are going to be. And if you have I always thought I was realistic. But as I'm reflecting on this, I'm learning I was more pessimistic than realistic. And I think that pessimism, it attracted a lot of that negative into my reality. Now I'm starting to, because, you know, like Christy, complete opposite. Grew up, relatively same area, complete opposite of my life. Her life was happy. Growing up, her childhood, she didn't see deaths. Her best friend didn't die from cancer, call it God, whatever you want. She didn't watch her best friend die for 2 years. She didn't watch friends of hers die from being shot, died from being stabbed. She didn't go through, you know, watching some of her friends get the shit kicked out of them through their domestic abusive relationships. You know, and then you do what you have to do. She didn't go through that. And she grew up in relatively the same area as me. So I think it's just, you know, do I have some PTSD in my life? Probably. The shit that I've been through and witnessed, probably. And I don't want to display that here on my YouTube channel, because I'm trying to work through things and change this. I want to change this mindset. So, you know, very, very different. Very, very different. This is why I train with live blades. Okay? The honesty of answer of why I've trained with live blades is because when it comes to my own personal safety, I don't care. I want answers. I want truth, and I will die for that. I stopped training with live blades because I want to be there for my kids. All right? Now, I still train with live blades from time to time, but not the way that I used to. Okay? So I'm changing. I'm curbing a lot of things in my life. I don't want to be that way that I was back in my 20s. I don't want to be that way. Well, it's just weird because, like, I hear people nowadays who are like, how do I achieve that? I don't think you really want to. You don't need to nowadays. I mean, you really don't. I mean, I mean, it depends on where you are. I think if you're in that environment and that's the way your life has brought you through that period of your life, I think you're not going to have to go seek it. Okay, you're going to just become a product of that. You know, I definitely know my triggers. I know my triggers in public, what sets me off and gets my mind, you know, getting that flip back in. You know, and I'm trying to eliminate those triggers. I'll do more on this stuff, man. I mean, I think I don't know. On my other channel, though. Yep. For you, Jesus was the answer. For me, he's not. I've been down that road. My mother was a CCD teacher, all of that. But I do have a relationship with God. So don't preach to me. Trust me. I'm not the one you want to preach to. I go to God directly. If God doesn't like that, then him and we have our conversations. I know he listens. Nice, Euro man. Do it. Let's train, man. Do not pray for me. Pray for others. Do not pray for me. I don't like that. That is disrespectful to me. Do not pray to me. You want my mindset? That's number one. Do not pray for me. I have my own relationship. Do not do that. Do not interfere with what's going on between me and my God. That right there, when someone says, I'm praying for you, that right there is like, I'll hit the fucking delete button on everything. I'll nuke everything. Do not get in between me and my own relationship with my own belief in higher power. Yeah, Jared, I completely agree with that. You know, I'm not looking to completely eliminate that, but I do know that my past interferes with my, my time spent with my family from time to time. And that's what I want to get rid of. No, I already tried the Jesus thing. Trust me. I grew up partially with that. No. That might work for you. That might work for millions of others. Maybe one day it'll change. I'm open to it, for the change, but I already did that. No. And I'm not an atheist, by the way. Respond to stimulus and some of the PTSD will put you in a feedback loop. It's like a guitar. Yeah. They want the mindset because it's cool. No, because they think it's cool. But it gets in the way. It gets in the way of everything. Ian, I appreciate that comment. I think Miko, and Ian. Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. By the way you formulated your comments, I think we can have some really good deep conversations. Good conversations, the kind of conversations that I'm interested in having with other people. Yes. Keep doing that.